Hello guys, welcome to Daddy Share Space and welcome to my channel. So I pre-ordered this a while ago and it's been just sitting in my shop, so I'm going to go ahead and unbox it right now. Basically what it is the Festool SAOF 1010 MFK. It is an accessory fence. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what it looks like. So here's the initial presentation. You can see here you've got another box on the inside. Let's open that up. And this is one part. Pull out this portion and that gives you access to these two bars, which will set on here. So this obviously is a router accessory and it has a micro adjust built in. It has two different openings here on the base, so the two outside openings and the two inside openings, and that is because this works, as it says in the name, with the Festool 1010 and also the Festool MFK router. Now you have these green knobs on the side that you can loosen, and that gives you the ability to slide this accessory fence back and forth. You put the rods into these openings. First you have to unscrew these thumb screws and you can slide the rods in like that and snug them down. And that's how that looks in the configuration for the 1010. Now if we were going to set this up for the MFK 700, we'll loosen it here and slide it there. Now as you can see, I'm tightening, but this still slides in and out, so you actually have to pull the knob all the way out like this and put it in the next hole. In order for it to work in the Festool MFK router. Now, this wouldn't be much of an unboxing if I didn't show it at least on the router. So let's go ahead and get the routers. Oh, and just take note, whenever I'm doing an unboxing that requires any of the tools from the back wall, you're gonna see what it's like and the reason why I want to build some kind of assist card. This is the 1010 here. Alright, we got the 1010. That was easy enough. I only had to remove two sustainers. Let's see about the MFK. So the Festool MFK is way down here. Alright, so now we have both the Festool MFK and the Festool 1010. I think since I'm pulling these out, I'm going to pull out my other routers so you can take a look at those as well. This is the Festool 2200. This is the Festool 1400. This is the Festool accessory kit for the 2200 router. Alright, so I got home around about the same time that I normally get home. However, I was kind of, ate a little bit after I got off work and was kind of sitting around, watched a video, Festool Live, about this, just to kind of familiarize myself with it a little bit. I had already seen the video in the past, but I just wanted to kind of look at it because for whatever reason, I hadn't unboxed this. I just kind of had it sitting to the side. I pre-ordered it, as I said. It's been in the shop for a while. I just now opened it. One of the things I was considering doing was going ahead and purchasing a second one so that I could use it, on both sides. So anyways, let's go ahead and pull out the 1010 and also the Festool MFK. So we'll slide this to the side. So that's that. Let's put this over here. All right. So let's pull out the 1010 first. You can see it here. Plug it cord. You've got the router itself. And as you can see, I do have the accessory here. And let me just pull all of this out here. Okay, that's what I have here, and I have I see one of my 8mm rods, not the other one. One of the reasons why I pulled them all out is because I know when I had them out before, I actually did not put everything in the proper case, so I need to find out what's in what case. Alright, so as you can see, obviously I misplaced one of the rods that was in with the 1010. But let's go ahead, let's take a look and see what this looks like. So as you can see, I'll use a tool, and then once I use it, I don't necessarily blow it off or anything like that. So I mean, my stuff pretty, it has sawdust on it from me using it. So anyways, or basically me practicing, because I haven't really done any projects with these routers as of yet. So we're going to take out these screws. Pulling out the rods, and then you can see the openings here. There's one here and one here, and there again. We're going to pop this in. We're putting it in the outside opening here. We'll screw that down. Let's move this MFK out of the way. Of course, I'll just slide it into the base, and I can tighten it up here. And you can take a look at how it looks on the bottom there. So with the router sitting up like this, you can check the travel. When I loosen the outside, I can slide it back and forth. When I loosen the fence, I can spread it out or put it in accordingly. So this is what it looks like on the 1010 router. Now I see this right here. Okay, yeah, this is the old one, and as you can see here, there's this portion right here is the micro adjust for the 1010. So let's put that on. Let's use these newer rods. Take this off. So this one has the micro adjust built in, so you loosen it here, and then you can rotate back and forth. There's actually some indentations or grooves right here on the base plate that give you the ability to select. I believe each revolution is like 1/100th of a, so basically it's like a 1/10 of a millimeter is each notch. So when you use this particular portion, as you can see, this just fits in there like that, right there again, and then you'll slide it onto the router. In both sections. So you loosen this, you'll slide it on to both sets of rods. snug it down here, and then one of the knobs is in here. When you put it in, like this. And I'm trying to think, there may be another component to this, but essentially if you look at this portion here, right? So if I loosen, these parts are loose. So as I turn, if you look at the deal here, you can see the base moving. That's your micro adjust right there with the older fence, and you can see that it does not have the ability to what have I done? I got this on here improperly somehow, because you can see it's offset from the base. Let me see what I have done wrong. So we see we have the proper width, but the actual attachment point appears to be off on here. Let me put it, let's see, I'll put it on this side. Let's check the bottom. Okay, so that's something that we notice here. If you look at it, if I put it on this opposite side, it doesn't line up. So putting it this way, it's off. So it actually has to go on the other side. So when I loosen this here, it's on the same side where you can actually put the foot pedestal. So I loosen both of the knobs, slide these out the other way, like this. And then when I put the accessory guide on, you see it lines up appropriately. And then actually, before I slide this on, I need to put the micro adjust on like this, and then thread both of them, as you can see in the top, like this. Let me loosen this one a bit, and then tighten this. And then again, as I turn this portion here, you can see it micro adjusting back and forth. So I can loosen right here at the base of the router and slide the whole device out this way, so you can see a little bit more travel with the micro adjust. All right, as I got those fastened, all right, so I have the back portion tightened. So if you look at it top down, you can see it's on the back side of the router here, right? And that's what gives you the proper orientation on the bottom. And now, as with these knobs loose, one of them is out, then you can rotate here and it micro adjusts the router. When I turn it upside down, you can get a better look. As you can see, it's moving that way and then moving forward. So just a little bit of a comparison between the two as far as the micro adjusting feature. Again, let's go ahead and put the other one back on and see how it looks. So we'll pull this whole thing off and we'll put the other one on. Let's see if it's ambidextrous, if it goes on either side. Well, it does, because actually I saw it in the Festool video where they had them on both sides. So this one doesn't matter which side you put it on. So we'll tighten this down here like this, and turning it upside down so the center is loose, and so I could turn the knob and you could see it micro adjusting on the rail there. Moving forward. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Obviously, when you look at Festool routers, they actually have a mark, an indentation on each portion of the base on all four sides. and that gives you the ability, so like if you line up your line with this mark, and then depending upon how you need to micro adjust on the wood to get to that mark, you have this option right here. So that's a look of it, a look at the micro adjust accessory on the Festool 1010. Let's set this to the side. Let's pull up the MFK. So when we open up the MFK, look in here. As you can see, again, dusty. There's the MFK. And I have different bases. Now here I have some actual, so this right here is the edge adjustment. Let me just put that back for now. And this is a micro adjust. Let's pull this out. Alright, inside of this kit, okay, so extra accessories, you have the router fence, which is this here, this portion. So you see the two the difference between the two. And this one, the accessory or the adjustment, is an extra accessory. All right, so we've got this accessory knob. What I am not seeing in here are the actual rods that go with this. So let me just take a quick look in these other sustainers to see if I can find the rods. The extra one for that, and then the one I believe that came with the other router. So, all right, these are my 10mm routers bits. This set appears to be intact. We'll take a look at this afterwards, and we'll have them all set up with their adjustment. All right, this here is the 2200. What is in here? All right, so let's put the 2200 back over here. And okay, so these right here do not go to the 2200. The rods for the 2200 are right here. You can tell the difference, right? So I had misplaced these, so I'm still missing one rod somewhere, and it may be in with the 1400. And then here's the other rod. Okay, so this is the one for the 1010, and it actually comes with the two rods, and then it has like a little micro adjust, which is this apparatus here. It fits on there like this, and you loosen it here. So then you take your two rods and plug them in like so, and you tighten that up. All right, and then once this is set, let's set this to the side. So this is for the MFK, right? Let me move this to the side. So this is the 1010 over there. This is the new accessory. I'll put that over here. And then this is the one that I purchased for the MFK. So as you can see, the rods, they don't go in that far on this particular base. So you tighten it here, and then this upper portion, you loosen it, and then you can slide it in like this. And then when you turn it over, you can see what the base looks like there. Obviously you've got your dust port. Looking at it from the top, I'm turning this green knob, which was an extra accessory, and that's moving the whole apparatus out. So let me tighten this, and let me just see if it rotates in with it tight. So yeah, it won't go all the way in. So basically, because so the actual, these rods have a limitation of how far they can go in to the actual router. Let me just suiting this up. That's all the way in here, and it's all the way in there. So with this portion here, this knob and this knob locked, and then as I loosen this portion, that gives me the ability to slide this back and forth. So then when I tighten this portion down, Let's see if that's moving it in. And it is. So now it's micro adjusting, moving the whole router base or the actual fence over. So if I loosen these and if I slide this over more, so I have to slide the whole device over, and I'm gonna put it closer to here so you can kind of get an idea or see it move. So then when I tighten this portion, now I have the ability to move the whole base. And as you can see, I'm moving it back. All right, let me try one more time. I'm gonna get it closer to the bit. Okay, so there's the bit. I'm tightening this knob here. Actually, let me go ahead and thread it all the way in. You can see here there's a thread here on this portion. So with it all the way threaded in, I'm gonna tighten down this nut here, and then that gives me the ability, when I turn the green knob, and I'm actually turning it, I guess, counterclockwise, you can see that it's moving away from the bit, going from my left to my right. And this is just obviously a micro adjustment to get you to dial in what setting you want to set on your device. There's a marking here, there's a marking here, a marking here, and then there's another one on this end on the MFK router. So that is that setup as it originally was configured. And then let's go ahead and put this one back together. So let's get a closer look at the three bases. Let's take them off of the routers. So for the 1010, as I said, it actually goes on this side where you can attach the foot, not on the side where the arrow is on the front there. So it's going to go on the back portion where the literature for the actual router is. So, and then this one here, you can see where it attaches by comparison to with this base. So let's disconnect it from the base. And we'll set this router over here for now. So we see the router bases. So this router base in the center is actually replacing both of these if you so choose, if you don't have both of them. And you can see the difference in the actual micro adjust. This one here is a lot less visual, if you will, because it does not have the green knob with the measurements on it. This is just how mine came. You can see there's a screw that goes in here, and that's moving this plate right here forwards and backwards away from your workpiece just by spinning this knob. Now I'm pretty sure that if you look into the literature, the revolutions of this particular screw and drive mechanism is probably very similar, if not the same, as this mechanism, which is causing this plastic portion to move back and forth, which is moving this fence back and forth. This is just plastic. This portion here is metal or an aluminum, and as far as weight, this feels substantially lighter. This, I believe, is actually a steel plate, so this one has a lot more weight to it. You can see that there's no adjustability on this particular one. This is the one for the 1010. And then on this one, which is for the MFK, this one does have the actual dust collection portion on it. Now the fence can be adjusted. If you use a flathead screwdriver, you can slide these portions backwards or back and forth. As far as weight is concerned, this one does still feel heavier than this particular one. And as I said, the mechanism for this one, right? These screws appear to need to be loose, but these need to be fastened into the router, connected down, and then you'll unscrew this portion here, and or actually you'll tighten down this knob, forgive me, you'll tighten down this rod, and as you screw this, it's referencing, so it's like kind of moving this whole plate in unison. With these two portions locked into the router, when you screw this out, it's like it works very similar to the way the router is on an actual 2-rail system. When you push down on one side, if the router's unlocked, right? When you unlock it, when you push down on one side, it's pushing down on both sides. So it's the same concept with this particular apparatus here. When both of these are locked in and this is actually tight, these are loose, it moves this plate backwards and forwards on this one arm or this one mechanism. Now, since I do have the 1400 in the shop, it gives you the ability to take this dust collector, which you can buy as an aftermarket part, and you can slide it on the bottom like that so that you can use dust collection as you run along your work with this one. So anyways, guys, I wasn't trying to go super in detail with this particular unboxing. In another video, or when I'm actually using it, I'll pull it out and we'll try it, but it's already 6:36 and I don't feel like setting all that up right now. It's a bit late for that. As I tell you all the time, it's, you know, the fact that I get off in the evening and I only have a couple hours. If I delay at all, I'm going to end up doing something like this as opposed to actually doing any kind of building. Oh, so before we go, let's go ahead and put this on the MFK. I don't think we've done that yet, so let's move this over here. We will take these thumb screws out completely and put them in this portion here, just like this. And I am, as I said before, I am seriously considering picking up a second one of these so I can try it in the fashion where you actually have two or one on each side, because I already have the longer rods that come with the 1400. They give you the ability to do that. And also too, I was thinking of trying this method before I buy that the plexiglass component that they have that's like $400. It's a lot of money for what it is to be able to do milling in wood. Now the only reason why I would still go with that plexiglass component is because it's going to work with this 1400 router, or this 2200 router, as well as the 1400. So this is not the 1010 is not their most powerful router, and obviously this one is not as well. So having that dual functionality may be great on smaller components, but for heavier duty things, I think you would need to go ahead and step up and get that plexiglass attachment, unless they plan on upgrading this for the 2200 and also the 1400 respectively. So anyways, let's put this in. And as you see, it doesn't go very far into the MFK base. And then you would loosen this portion here, slide this in. Let's take a look at it from the other side. You can see where it is in relationship to. And then I can adjust these fences, and move them in and out accordingly, tighten them down. And then when I rotate, let's see here, once I tighten it onto the bar, then let's see, yes, then it flows freely back and forth, as you can see when I rotate this screw. And you'll have to excuse me, I should have looked it up, but I believe one revolution is something like a millimeter. So basically maybe each tick is 1/10 of a millimeter. So that's how accurate or how precise you can get with this particular accessory. Anyways, guys, I'm super excited about having all these Festool tools in the shop, and really looking forward to being able, you know, to use them over the course of time. I know I get tons of criticism, well, not tons, that's kind of a overstatement, but I get a lot of criticism my fair share of criticism, if you will, from people that come and make derogatory or negative comments. Let me just let you know, I mean, just for your sake, not for mine, respectfully, if you're gonna be super negative, I mean, I would think twice about writing it, because all I'm going to do is just hide you from the channel permanently, and you won't be able to make any comments at all anymore. So I would basically, you know, ask for you to have a little bit of restraint with what you say. If you have constructive criticism, feel free. But if you're just being nasty, I'm just going to hide you, and I'm not even going to think back. Let me just tell you, I don't even know how to go back in on the back end to unhide people. So once you get hid from the channel, that's it for you. You're done. And I'm a one and done person. You say something wrong one time to me, and that's it for you. So I'm gonna be honest, I don't really understand fully the negative energy, you know. I mean, I do understand, but I don't really want to verbalize it, you know, because I don't want to give a lot of energy to that. I don't want to fuel that fire. So the bottom line is, you know, if you're offended by seeing someone like myself, whether it be unbox these tools and whatever, I would welcome you to go find someone that you feel more comfortable with. And you know, this is more so for DIYers. I do understand that because of the types of tools that are in the video, that maybe some people that are more professional may come to this channel. Don't get offended, you know, but let's be honest, I'm not a professional, so obviously it's not for you, unless, you know, you just like to watch somebody, you know, tinker about with tools, which, you know, I am more than happy to have you here on the channel. But like I said, if you're just going to be nasty, you know, we're going to go ahead and move you on to your next destination. Anyways, there was something I was saying, that was a little micro rant. There was something else. Oh, let's go ahead and set up all of them with a particular edge guide so you can see them all. So I'm going to leave the new one on this MFK. So we're going to put this one on the 1010. And tighten that down. So you can take a look at those. So again, remember, this is the one that comes with the MFK. And this is the new one. And then let's look at this is the 1400. And you can see you actually have to use a screwdriver to move these portions here, the fence out, and then you have your micro adjust here on the back. So, and the way this actually snugs up is pretty cool, because it actually has, so you have these knobs on the side, right? And you loosen these to put the bars in, but to activate the micro adjust, if you look here, this actual plate, if you can see here, this is obviously, feels like it's a cast aluminum or something like that, maybe cast steel. These little bevels or indentations here is very similar to the newer model. So it looks like they took some of their original design and oh, I just dropped the screw. That sucks. There we go. So you want to be careful. On the bottom here, there is this oval type of nut. You want to make sure you don't unscrew it enough to where it comes out. So let's put that back in. All right, so with this loose, this portion loose here, just trying to assess, so that's what moves it back. Okay, yeah, so as I screw this way, it's moving this portion forward as I turn it back towards me. And that's the full extension. And then when I turn it the other way, you can see it's going back that way. So let's go ahead and put it on the router. Put this one in the wrong one. This one goes over here. And not sure if this one's ambidextrous or not. We will see. right, so moving this one to the side here. All right, you can see what this one looks like. Let's turn it. All right, so we got that big knob loose, and you can see the whole thing moving in this direction here and back. Let's turn this over. And I'm tightening up this knob back here to lock it in place. And then locking it on the router. I like that because it actually tightens down with just one singular knob for the 1400. So we got that. And then let's go ahead and get the big boy out here, which is the 2200. This is one of those tools similar to the Contoro, the Capex, the TSV60 and TS60, which they have the integrated power cords in the device, so no plug-it cord for these. All right, so we need the big rails or rods, which we have here. And you know this router kind of goes at an angle. So we got that in there. And again, it tightens down the rods with one screw, which is nice. I like that about this particular router. All right, this is the base. As you can see, it's very similar to the one that comes with the 1400. Looks like the only difference is the fact that the holes here on the top are separated. So again, we'll unscrew these on the side, and then we can slide this on. And once we tighten it, this is what it looks like on the router itself. When we turn it upside down, let's take a look at the micro adjustment. You've got the knob here. I'm loosening it. Once I loosen it, it's coming from this little knob here, and then that gives me the ability, with that loosened, and now the whole plate is moving in this direction. And then let's pull it back the other way. This one's a lot beefier as far as the, let me see if I can loosen it a little bit more. Maybe it'll move a little bit freer. And this one's a little bit more taut when you move it back and forth. All right, just another comment about this particular fence. If you look in here as well, it actually has the Phillips head screws that you would have to adjust in order to move the actual fence out around the router bit. So guys, this here has been my unboxing of the Festool SAOF 1010 MFK. You let me know if you think it's worth it. I believe this is cheaper than if you bought the components separately for this one. I know they're cheaper if you get both, but I believe it's cheaper than each one individually, is what I'm saying. I'd have to go back and look and see what I paid for them. Definitely, I'll say the look of this one seems to look a little bit better than the one here on the 1010. This one's, it's okay, but it, like, as I said, it doesn't have that green Festool knob to be able to do the micro adjustment as the rest of them do. If you look at these ones on the 1400 and the MFK, it seems like this is more of a refined way of doing the same thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if they basically create one of these that works on both of these routers, potentially. Well, I guess they can't, because this is a 10mm rod and this one is an 8mm rod. So, and the weight of this router would probably bend these smaller rods. So actually they would have to make one for each router, I would assume, unless of course they made one that you could buy that had 2 sets of holes, and it came with 2 sets of rods. So that basically you'd have a 10 millimeter hole and an 8 millimeter hole, and obviously they would line up with the thing. So I guess in that way they could recreate this, and that would be another method for them to bring in a little bit more money, I would imagine. So anyways guys, I want to thank you for taking time to watch this little video.